work through, as we work through all of this, let me just get this out of the way. This is the first of 3 trainings that we're going to be having. Really, we are looking at trying to do the best training that we can, not only as the overview for district grants, but also how does that process work with DAC-DB. I have had currently 6 clubs that have sent the name of the person in their club who was going to be what we are calling the DAC-DB specialist. That person is someone who needs to be computer literate and feel comfortable working in DAC-DB. Jim and I have talked, and we feel like that's going to help alleviate some of the angst that we have as we get to the deadline and past the deadlines. So these are the clubs who have sent the name of a person that is going to be responsible, and I'll tell you what they're going to be responsible for in a minute. Oriental, Fremont, Greenville Morning, Newbern Breakfast, Goldsboro, and then Goldsboro Three Eagles, as well as Rocky Mount. If your club wasn't named, please in the next week or so send me the name of the person who was your DAC-DB specialist. Now, what are they responsible for? And it really needs to be someone who was willing to do a 2 or 3 year stint. We're asking that person to be responsible for making sure that everything is uploaded into DAC-DB and that all of that process is kind of moved forward so that we get to that final point where it is actually submitted to the district, either for approval for a new grant or approval for the final report. So again, we're asking for the name of a person who will be willing to handle that portion of the grant. Doesn't mean that they've got to do the grant. It may not be the grant person. It may not be the foundation person, but just someone that Jim and I can work with, because Jim is our district chair for district grants, someone that we can work with, and it will, I think, make the system go smoother. And I think it really will alleviate a lot of the gnashing of teeth that we've had in the past. So again, please send me that name in the next week or so if your club was not mentioned. Now, that being said, we do want that person to be on the training for February the 1st and then, March 1st and April 1st, because we're going to be doing some specific things with DAC-DB and how to go through the process. Now, just what you're seeing on the screen now, and I've got a new computer and a whole new setup, so I'm struggling, but what you're seeing is a document that was sent out, and like Barbara said earlier, she had to send it out 2 times, 2 different emails, because right now PMail will only allow 2 attachments. This attachment, and Barbara will send this back out in the next couple of days to make sure that everyone has all 4 documents. But this is just kind of an overview. I am not spending a lot of time on this. You've all seen it before. It goes through a lot of the general stuff, like here, examples of what district projects have been in District 7720, but it also shows what you cannot use district grants for. I know that a lot of us always go to the same grant project, and that's great, that's fine. But we want to also give you the opportunity, if you choose to change your project. So just wanted to make sure that you've understood what you can't actually use a district grant for. And some of the processes or dates that we've changed, Barbara, who was the annual fund chair, and of course Jim is the district grants chair, we've had some conversations about our due dates. Originally, the MOU and the MOU addendum, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit, that was supposed to be submitted by February the 1st. And the more we talked about it, you know, some clubs don't even have their president-elect by February the 1st. So really, we felt like it was okay if those actually were submitted or uploaded with the submission of the new grant application April 1st. That being said, don't hesitate to go ahead and upload it. If you can get it signed, go ahead and upload it. And that's one of the things that Rochelle is going to talk to just briefly about uploading those two documents. So we still wanted to have training in January to kind of get everybody up to speed. So that's one date that has changed. So now our two dates, before we had three, now we have two. March 1st is going to be the final, no, the new grant, no, which one is it, Barbara? I've got it right in front of me somewhere.
What are you asking?
Okay, so here we go. February the 1st is the final report for your 22-23 grant. No, it should actually be, I'm sorry. It's, yeah, I've got it wrong on my email, sorry. It's actually March 1st for your final report, and then April 1st for your new grant. So we're starting in January, which we've always started in January, kind of prepping for that. So our trainings, I was looking at the wrong dates. The training date is February the 1st and March 1st. That gives, we're basically doing the training a month away from the due date. So the February 1st training is for your final report, which is due March 1st. The March 1st training is for your new grant application, which is due April 1st. So we're building in a month between the training and when things are due. So we hope that that's going to be helpful. And then also at the very bottom of this, and you have the due dates in here. And I've also put in which grant year it is. I felt like that, you know, for clarification would be good. So for the grant that you're currently doing this year, the final report is March 1st, 2023. For your 23-24 grant, it goes March 1st, 2024. So I try to put a few more dates to be a little clearer. Grant signatures, we've had a little bit of an issue with that. People not understanding that there's multiple signatures. One of the things I'm asking Rochelle to do tonight is to do the audit signature piece so that you can see how you move people in and out of that so that they are the ones who sign off on the grants. Last year and actually some the year before, we would have clubs and they'd say, well, I've submitted it, but they didn't finish all of the signatures and then they didn't click submit. We're going to cover the submit to clubs and submit to districts and all that at another training. But be aware that the audit signature thing that she will talk about tonight, it sets you up so that you're not scrambling at the end to get folks in there to be able to sign. So now I'm going to get out of that document and I'm going to share another one, I hope. Can everyone see that?
Yes.
Yes.
This is the best practices for district grants. This is probably one of the best documents, and Lee Adams actually created it years ago when she was foundation chair. It goes through everything. The org year part in DAC-DB that's so important. I've had people call, and Jim, I'm sure, has had the same thing, and they're like, but we can't find it. You've got to change your org year. But really what I want to talk about is these kinds of things. Make a copy of the district grant check because we need that in there. Make a copy of the deposit slip. We have to have that, the bank statement, receipts, invoices. All of these things on this list are extremely important. I know that in the past, because of COVID, some projects we couldn't get photos, specifically dictionary deliveries, because COVID. And we were given a leeway to that. But this year we really do, I think we're past that now, not whether we're past COVID, but we're past that of not being able to get photos. So those of you the last couple of years who haven't had to deal with photos, just be mindful that that's part of your final grant report. And of course, here you've got Jim's name, and again, the due dates. Notice April 1st, I put that in there. This includes the MOU and the MOU addendum for 23-24. Are there any questions about this document?
Did you include this in the stuff that y'all just sent out?
We did, but Barbara is going to resend.
Okay.
It may come in 2 emails depending on how quick DAC-DB can get the issue of the number of attachments that can be sent.
Mhm.
But this will be sent back out to the PMIL group, which is the district grants for 23-24. Now, I want to talk just briefly about the MOU and the MOU addendum. We have changed something. I don't have any idea of, I know it was a long time ago because it looks like a typewriter. But we've moved this into a Word document, both the MOU and the MOU addendum. It is a Word document. Now, for those of you who are comfortable with electronic signatures, it's not your typical electronic signature, but you could, I've done this before, Spencer Stanley, Lewis, all of us have used it. We take a photo of our signature and then we put it on the computer under photos, pictures, and then you can actually use that and copy and paste on the line. So it's now, before it was a PDF, now it is a Word document, both the MOU and the MOU addendum. You can still
Tracy,
go old school.
I sent those out. I sent both the Word and the PDF in it because some folks said they couldn't open the Word document.
Gotcha.
So I sent them both.
Okay. You can do old school like we've been doing, sign it, scan it back in, and then upload it. That is fine, but this is just a different option. DAC-DB is working on the ticket. I think it's still there. Rochelle can comment on that. But I have been begging for the last 2 years that somehow this MOU and MOU addendum be in such a way that it's easy to, it's already in there and it's click and you can upload it. But so far, I don't believe that has happened. But there is a ticket to DAC-DB to try to get that so that that's a little easier for everyone. Any questions about the MOU and the MOU addendum? All right. Now, what Rochelle is going to do tonight is just that piece of, if you chose to go ahead and start the process of the new grant application, and for those on the call that are DAC-DB specialists, this is going to be very helpful if you've never done it before. So she's just going to go over how you actually start that new grant application and then the audit signatures piece so that you can go ahead and kind of work out the signature issues prior to, oh my gosh, the report is due, the application is due, and the person who's supposed to sign isn't really the person who's supposed to sign, and they're out of the country or this, that, and the other. So Jim and I and Barbara felt like having this piece of it will be helpful. And again, February the 1st, she's going to run through all of the part about a final grant report. And then March 1st, she's going to go through the rest of a new grant application, that piece of the things that you have to do to be able to send it forward. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Rochelle to handle the audit signatures and the new grant, how you just started up.
Hi, everyone. It's good to see you all again. I'm going to share my screen. And we're going to look in a couple of different places. When I do that new grant application demo, I'm actually going to do it over in our fictional club of Hollywood to avoid causing Barbara any issues with her own grant.
Let's not talk about that.
So when you log into DACDB, and you're going to click on the My Club tab, and you should have a grants icon here. If you don't see the grants icon, click on this little cogwheel in the very top right corner. You're going to see this top box are the icons that are displayed. And right below that are available icons. You can just drag and drop these icons to add them, and then you'll click on set my configuration. You're seeing these other options because I'm my level 9 self, but the only options that you will see will be set club default, reset my configuration, and set my configuration. Be sure you just click on set my configuration, because if you click on these others, you're going to mess up somebody else in the club the way they have things configured. So it sometimes causes some confusion if you do that. So again, set my configuration, and then you'll be able to click on this grant icon. When you click on the icon, it's going to take you to this district grants overview page. And you'll have options over here in the left side menu. And I think this is where I want to switch to Hollywood. And we're going to go to grants. So it'll kind of look like this when you first get into grants. I am impersonating Tom Hanks in our fictional Hollywood club. And Tom is, I chose Tom Hanks because he's actually a level 6 user. And that means I could have switched easily between district and grant as we go through this process. So in the left side menu, you're going to see these options. The first one, and I'm starting here because getting those MOUs signed and uploaded is really, really important. And this is where you're going to go to upload those signed documents. So in the left side menu, you click on Grant Secure Files. And you're going to see there are 2 areas here, secure files and public files. Now, let's switch back over here, because this will make a little more sense to everyone in your district. But you'll see here under secure files, this is where you're going to be uploading those MOUs.
Now, Rochelle, we do allow clubs to put it actually under the document tab if they choose to.
I'll show them that too.
Okay.
I just had seen this area and it looked like this was being
Right.
um,
Yeah, but we let them do both. It's easier actually for Gemini if it's under documents.
I agree. In all of the work that I do with grants in my district, I find uploading it to the documents area within the grant is the best way to go.
It is.
The second thing that you're going to want to do is audit club signatures. And again, it's right here in the left side menu. So let's go back. I'm trying to be really cautious not to mess up Barbara's club. So you'll click on audit club signatures. It's going to get, you will see a full list, and this will let you know if there have been anyone added as a club signer. Under the admin here, this is where you can click on club signatures, And this is where you are going to see a list of all of your club members here in this left side column. And those that have permission to sign or have been signed, been added as a grant signer, they are going to be over here in this right side column. And you can see Tom Hanks isn't a signer. So we're going to find him in the left side column, and you're going to use the right facing arrows to move someone from the left column over to the right. If you want to take someone off, like say Cameron Diaz isn't going to help with grants this year, you'll click you'll click on her name and click the left facing arrows to move her over to this area. And I'm going to just put her back. Once you have all of your signers added here, you just click the save button. And then they're going to have access to sign off on any grant your club submits. So now that we have our signers all in place, we're going to go back to Club Grants View here in the left side menu. If you are working on a grant during this org year, it's going to be listed here. And I'm going to go back to Barbara's club. So here you'll see the org year 2022-23, and here is the grant that her club has submitted. If you're going to do a grant for the next org year, which is 2023-24, you're going to want to immediately click on this change org year button and select the org year from the drop-down menu. You can click on save this as my working org year, and whenever you go back to the grants area, you'll be going into the 23-24. I'm not going to save that as my working org year here in Hollywood, because I think we've got some trainings coming down and I don't want to mess anyone on our team up either.
Mhm.
So now that I've changed my org year to 23-24, I can start a new grant. And I'm just going to click right here on this orange button that says new club grant request. Now, this little pop-up window is just going to tell you, this is how many people you need to have as a signer. So we're on our end, we're trying to prompt you about getting someone assigned as a club signature, as a club signer for grants as well. So you can just put, okay, well, you know what? Because I changed org years, I've got to go back and add signers. So let's see. Put Cameron back on there. And
I'm glad that happened, because that's important, that we know we have to get these signatures in there.
yes, anytime, if you change the org year, just know, go back and check the club signatures
Mhm.
and make sure that you've got your club signers added. We have been doing a lot of updates here in the grant area. I don't think we've done anything really significant just yet. I am like Tracy and Barbara, I am hoping that in the very near future, you're going to be the district will be able to upload their MOU and have you digitally sign it all within this area. That is one of our goals. I know that our developers have stopped taking new enhancement tickets so that they can focus on getting the enhancements done that are currently in the queue. So hopefully by the next org year, don't hold me to it, but I'm hoping that this time next year, we're going to see that digital signature available here. So now that we have our signers added, now when we come over here and we click on this, it's going to open up to the form that you're going to complete. And you're going to just give your your grant, you're gonna enter the project name. You can.
And
select-
Rochelle, correct me if I'm wrong, but if they don't know what the project name is and they just really want to go ahead and get that MOU and MOU addendum uploaded, they can put no name yet. I mean,
Yes.
just anything there, correct? And then
Yes.
change it later.
Yeah.
Undecided,
Yes.
whatever you need to do because this is a required field.
Mhm.
All of the required fields, you want to make sure there is something there. It doesn't matter what you put there, because you can always go back and edit this information. But the required fields have to be completed for you to just get this grant saved and seen by the district, I guess, that you know, that is kind of a heads up to the district that your intention is to do a district grant. So we're going to call this one dictionary project. If you want to set a priority, this you can select one from the drop down. Normally I don't mess with this very often. I think during COVID, there were some special COVID grants that we possibly increased the priority. There's our project org year. This is round 1. We're gonna say we're in Hollywood, California, USA. And our target completion date will be, let's see. We'll do September 30th, 2023. And we're gonna pick an area of focus, which will be education, supporting education. Then you're going to provide a brief description of what this project is about. And then we're going to scroll back up. The next thing, you have this clubs tab. So if you are collaborating with another club within the district, you can select that club from the drop-down menu and use these the right facing arrow to move them over to this clubs involved area. So just to be clear on this, if you do have a club that you are collaborating with on this grant, one of you will be like the main club, the contact club, and everything is going to flow through your club. But other clubs that may be added, so the demonstration club, they are still going to have to sign off on things and make sure that someone from their club is a signer, because they will have to sign off on things to keep this grant moving forward. So just keep that in mind. Your contacts, if there is somebody else other than the person that is completing the grant, you can add those people here so that they're included in contact, you know, any type of contact for the grant. Your final tab here is the application tab. And this has, you know, again, there are some required fields here. So we're going to say that our start date is going to be August 2023, and our completion date will be September 30th. You're going to enter the name and address of the person that should be receiving the check. And that information all in there. Oh, I think I did this wrong. I think it's 90120. And here's where you're going to list the objectives of the grant, the humanitarian efforts, the involvement of the Rotarians in your club, your publicity plan. So this is kind of where you want to make sure you grab pictures, post it on Facebook, those types of things. Talk to the public about what your grant has done to help your community. And then at the bottom, you'll see there are these agreements, and you have to check those off to keep moving forward. So here I'm just gonna get some content in here so the system is happy. So once you've completed all of this, we're going to go back up and we're going to say save the grant. And once we've saved the grant, we get a few more tabs, and you will see this progression bar across the top. The progression bar is kind of a guide as to what is coming next, what's going on down the pipeline, where you're at and where you need to go. Once you have, gotten the grant this far, now it's time to collect your club signature.
No, not yet. Wait. Because remember, we're going to be going through some of that, but I want you to talk a little bit about documents.
Documents.
Yes.
So right here is your documents tab. And remember, when we were talking about grant secure files right over here, this is the best place for you to upload all of your documents, your MOU, any copies of checks or receipts, all of those things should be uploaded over here in this area. This is where the grant committee goes to look for the information to make sure that your club has met all of the requirements and has submitted all of the required documentation to cut the check and get it mailed to you. So this is a very, very important area. Your photos can be uploaded here, the MOU, your receipts. What else, Tracy? What else is required? I'm trying to.
Jim may want to comment on this, but having it labeled appropriately makes it really easy as Jim and I go through that.
Yes.
Jim, you want to speak to this document section?
Yes. Quite frankly, with the number of clubs in a district, I don't go to the secure files unless I'm forced to. Because you see the list that was populated there. It has multiple years, multiple documents. The club needs to title any and every document and bring it here and just upload it. Straightforward.
And
Right.
that's a good point that Jim makes, is including the org year in the file name when you're uploading. So if you have saved your receipts on your device, and sometimes when we're scanning things, they just come through with the file name already included, and it's just a bunch of letters or characters. You actually want to rename that file and make sure that you've included what that document really is. So if it's the receipts for your project, you want to make sure that you put 2023-24 document, grant receipts, so that you have all of that documentation in one place. Now you can add a folder. So if you wanted to put, project receipts, you could create a folder for all those project receipts and then upload files into that folder. It's just like right here. If I click on documents, I can upload a document under the documents folder, or you can just upload files here. I'm not sure which Jim prefers you to do, or if he has a preference. In my district, I prefer that everything just get uploaded right here. So when I go into the documents tab, I can see everything that I need to see.
With the different types of software that people use, we really need them to upload their document. They upload a link, basically they're asking me to go back to their computer through the link. And also there will be some document names that I may not have the ability to open. So the Word documents and PDF documents should be the norm, I would hope.
Yes. You know, using, so what I can do here is, you know, when you click on choose file, it's going to allow you to select something off of your device directly. And this is a good example. You'll see here this extract XLS. This is an Excel file of a report that I downloaded directly from DACDB. But I wouldn't want to upload this file with this name. So what you can do is you can do a right click on the file and rename it. And we'll just call it test. Like that. Well, wait a minute. Let's call it test. Why did my keyboard stop working? Sorry, give me just a second. I gotta-
You have to right click again, I think. I think it already saved it.
No, something's going on with my device. What I was trying to do was just make sure that I had the org year included here. And when you upload it, it's going to be right here. You'll see it's can kind of be a little bit tricky, but the file name will be listed right there next to the choose file button, and you just click upload file. And it'll be listed right there. If you need to rename it once you have it uploaded, you can do that right here. So we could say 23, 24. Now, this can be a little bit tricky as well. The file names. You do not want to use any type of special characters in your file names. What I've done right here in this file name is I added a space, which is fine. But adding like a comma or the ampersand or the @ symbol or a hashtag, any of those special characters will prevent someone from opening this file. And if you rename the file and remove those special characters and save it, then the file will open fine. So keep that in mind. When you're uploading files, be sure to do it without any type of special character. Any questions up till now? Is everybody good with that?
And I really can't say this enough, putting the documents, MOU addendum under documents. I can't tell you the number of times that both Jim and I had to reach out to clubs. We don't have your MOU and we don't have the addendum, but they were in secure files. And then you saw that list and it can get like, you almost, I mean, it's a little overwhelming.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's even buried up under something. So it looks like it's straightforward, but really it's all of a sudden it's buried under something else. So MOU and MOU addendum, along with other things under that documents tab is the way to go.
I completely agree with that.
And some of them aren't named by the club. I mean, I found myself going through all these MOU and MOUs addendums, and it's like, you know, if they had just put it under the document tab, I would never even had to contact them.
Right.
There would have been no angst.
Exactly.
here's an incentive. If you want your project reviewed quickly, I look at the application, the contacts, the documents. I look at the budget. And if the signatures are there and it meets all the criteria, boom, I forward it to Tracy for approval.
Mhm.
I have to go looking, it becomes less likely.
And also, remember, Jim works, and I'm still working, so this does save us a tremendous amount of time if things are in the right place. And that's why we wanted to try to give you this training early, and that we will go through this again March 1st for the new application, just to make sure everybody is on board, because it does take a lot of time, and it's much easier when everything is already there.
And
Exactly.
guys, I know this is overwhelming for the ones of you that don't work with this on a regular basis.
Mhm.
And that's why I put the step by step together.
Mhm.
Hopefully that will make it easier for you. And it
Mhm.
goes back and basically takes you right back through what Rochelle has just went through. And if you find any errors or anything on that, please let me know and I will update that. But we've
Right.
used that now for about 4 years.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, it's working fine.
I think it's great. And Rochelle, we don't have to go through the save process at this point,
Okay.
to collect save, but I mean, not collect clubs, grant signatures, because we will do that again the month before it's actually due. If
Right.
people can get to this point,
You've got a good start.
we've got a good start, and that's why having that DAC DB specialist named for your club is so important, because you can see there's nuances here. And I don't know about y'all, but at my age, if I don't do something all the time, a year's passed, it's real rusty.
Yeah. And the
Really
other-
rusty. And in fact, I'll tell you this story. I won't say any names, but I had someone that complained, and they were like, I've been to these trainings multiple times and I don't understand why I still have to attend and required, and and I understand, but that's just the district, we that's what we say, you have to attend a training. And lo and behold, their club was 3 weeks late on either, I can't remember if it was the final report or either the new application, grant application, because they didn't get all this right. And this was someone that was complaining because they had gone through the training and had done it before. We all get rusty, and it's okay. That's why we do these trainings, so that you feel like, okay, I'm ready to get on the horse again. But we do feel like a DAC DB specialist who works with computers a lot and is comfortable in this type of click environment, that I think it will make this year a little smoother. Don't you, Jim?
Yes, Rochelle, can you scroll down on the left-hand side and show that there's actually in the grant navigation all the way down, as you go down,
The videos,
the videos are helpful, but there's actually and full instructions with print screens, and maybe it's under help, club documentation,
Mhm.
everything you want to know, but we're afraid to ask. There's 15 pages
Mhm.
right here, which if you can read, basically will tell you how to get to first, second, third base.
Mhm.
Exactly. I think that it's a brilliant idea to have a designated DAC DB person in every club in your district. What a caveat that I would add to that is, if anybody is just willing to step into that position, they have our full support.
Mhm.
We are more than happy to help all of our users. But I will say, those that are kind of taking the lead at being that DAC DB point person, especially within the club, we will do our best to make sure that you have all the training that you could absolutely want or need to support your club. So don't ever hesitate to reach out to us.
If I can ask a question, this is Bill Craven. So the documents that are in front of us now, are they the same as what you'll be sending out?
No. These documents are located here in
Yes,
the grants area, and I don't think that these were part of the documentation. Yeah.
No,
Bill,
they are
what I
not.
sent was the kind of the overview and then the best practices as well as the MOU and the MOU addendum.
Right.
So those were the things that I showed that were sent out. Everything else is embedded in DAC-DB.
got it. Thank you.
And again, Barbara will send out, guess it'll look like it's coming from me. But she will send all 4 of those documents back out to that list that we've got for the 23-24 grants. So you'll get it again.
And I just want to stress, like, if you get stuck or you get frustrated, you just give us a call. Give me a call, give Barbara a call. One or the other of us will get you moving on.
Let me ask too, that when you send us an email, please put your club name on there so we don't have to stop and look it up.
And the-
Unfortunately, I can't remember all 1,300 members and their clubs.
Barbara, and also the name of their project, if they will.
Yes, in this
This is-
case, yes.
Are there any other questions? Because we won't go any further than this with the DAC-DB stuff tonight. So everybody feel very comfortable. And again, if you don't have a DAC-DB specialist, please send me that name in the next week or so. Because if not, I'm gonna be reaching out and asking for it. So it's just easier if you go ahead and send it to me. Again, the clubs that I have, Oriental, Fremont, Greenville Morning, Newbern Breakfast, Goldsboro, Goldsboro Three Eagles, and Rocky Mount. Those
Tracy,
are the clubs that have given me a name
this is
of
our
their
Fred,
DAC-DB specialist.
this is our Fred Bridgers, Tracy.
All right,
Okay, and I'm sure, I'm gonna ask the president tomorrow night, but I'm sure they're gonna send my name in. But, so you'll
Well-
see it in a week or so.
yeah, that would be great, Fred. In fact, just to give a shout out to Fred in Elm City, I have used Fred's final grant report as a, an example of this is what it's supposed to look like. So Elm City always does a fabulous job.
And my second question was, I'm not, where do we go to see it, the number we're gonna get?
The
dollar
DDF
amount?
allocation,
Yeah,
okay, I have not sent that
Are you-
out.
Are you going
I
to go to
am-
that report, Tracy?
No, I'm talking, they're talking about the DDF allocation.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
That will not, I was told by RI that they are going to give me the final figures in January,
okay,
that should be populated. And at that point, I can finalize the numbers. There was a little bit of questions. And so I decided after last year that it would be better if I waited to see their exact figure. They've been running money through some different ways, as well as they're going to be changing. We're going to be getting, I think, 48 point something percent back versus the 50%. So as soon as I get that, then I'll be able to make sure my calculations are correct. And that being said, I will be talking to Tony Santori, and he'll make the final decision. Is it going to be 22% that goes back to the clubs, 23%? I think last year we did 25%. That varies from year to year, depending on some other obligations that we have. So it'll definitely be in your PETS book, but you'll actually get it sent to the club president-elects, probably, the people that are basically in that P-mail group, which includes the foundation chair. But that will be sent out prior to PETS, but it will be in your PETS book.
okay.
Generally, it's going to be within couple $100 of what you've had the year before.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Oh, just a reminder for everyone. The calculation, we're always 3 years in arrears, but it's $100 per capita. This year, to be eligible for a district grant in 25-26, it's $120 per capita. So this is the year that you need to make sure that it's $120 per capita. And Barbara sends that report out monthly so you can keep track of that. So to just be aware, and again, it takes effect 25-26. I just don't want people to get confused and think, well, we got it this year and we only did $100 per capita. It's because we're basing it on 3 years prior. Which brings me to the Great Rotary Bake Off. I hope everyone received the email, got the rules of engagement, and will participate. The district foundation committee felt like this was a good opportunity to have a district-wide fundraiser. We've talked about it for a couple of years. COVID, my idea of getting a new car raffled off, couldn't get anybody to give us a new car. But anyway, we're doing the Great Rotary Bake Off. So the money that will be raised from that actually will go into you to turn it into a Rotary Foundation annual fund share. So it does come back to your club. Some clubs will choose just to do a group submission. Like you may say, we raised $1,500 and we're sending it out as the club. But you also can do it, excuse me, you can also do it based on the member. So if I sold a cake for $100, you could send that $100 in as me, so I get the points. So we're hoping everybody participates. Any questions about that?
No, I just have a quick question about the DAC specialist. Who do you have on record for New Bern Breakfast?
Let me go through my files, Andy.
Thank you.
Paul?
That's me, Andy. It's Paul.
It's
It's
you.
Paul.
It's you, Paul.
It's Paul.
Okay.
Are you glad you heard that name, Andy?
I got it covered.
And again, the DAC-DB specialist does not have to be the person who actually does the grant.
Good.
They're just handling this piece of it. Now, our next training is going to be February the 1st. This is for the final report. So this will go out to the PML group that had a grant this year. So we've got different PML groups for different things. So that PML goes to clubs that were eligible this year. If your club was not eligible and did not do a grant this year, that training is not necessarily for you. But it always doesn't hurt if you want to join us, just to get a feel for a final report. The one that's going to be March 1st will be this group. And typically, we'll have 1 or 2 clubs that are eligible one year. They get back eligible the next year. Next year, they may not be. So there's only just maybe 2 clubs that kind of go in and out. But the March 1st is for this group, definitely the DAC-DB specialist, because that's a month ahead of when your new grant application has to be turned in. Rochelle will do that training also, and she will walk us through that collecting of the club signatures and what you have to click to make sure it gets to Gemini. Is this time, 6 o'clock, good for everyone? Do we need to push it to 7, or is 6 work? Okay. Well, I want to thank Rochelle for doing the training. We appreciate all your support from DAC-DB. It's nice to have the professional go through a lot of things for us. I think it's also nice to hear someone else's voice for a change. I want to thank all of y'all for being on this Zoom call. I know that it takes some time out of your day. But our grants are extremely important. We do so much for our community with these district grants. And I appreciate the fact that y'all are here and you're willing to work with Gemini as we finish up our last year. Frank Jacklett will be taking over as foundation chair. My term is 3 years and then it's up, and I'm not sure who he's named to replace Jim yet. Barbara is actually going out as well as annual fund chair. So you'll see some new faces next year for training, so. If that is it, if no one else has anything else, please make sure that Barbara did check you off. If you're afraid that she did not, put your name and your club in the chat box. This has been recorded. If you hear someone say, I couldn't get on, please let me or Barbara know, and we will send the recording to them. That is fine. I mean, technological issues come up all the time. We're good because we know that there were some people who tried to get on and could not. So just let us know and we will send that recording out. In fact, Barbara, can we send out the link to the recording to the group?
Oh, yeah.
Well, then we should have everyone covered. So that will
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
All right. And again, until Pmail is worked out, you may get 3 separate emails with 3 separate attachments. So bear with us. All right. Well, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night.
Good
night.
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 Hi.
Good night.